We do begin with the breaking news, a guilty verdict in the case that made national headlines. The jury finding Alec Murdaugh guilty of killing his wife Maggie and son Paul. The verdict just a short time ago.
Guilty verdict signed by the forelady, 3-2-23.
That was the scene in that South Carolina courtroom, the once prominent attorney standing to hear the verdict. Guilty on all counts, in fact. 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. This guilty verdict coming after 6 weeks of testimony, the jury of 7 men and 5 women reaching this verdict in just under 3 hours. ABC's Eva Pilgrim leading us off. She was in the courtroom again today.
Tonight, a guilty verdict in the case that has transfixed this country. The jury convicted Alec Murdaugh for the murder of his wife and son, who were shot to death outside the family's dog kennels.
The state versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for murder, SC code 16-3-0010, CDR code 0116. Okay. Guilty verdict.
Mr. Murdaugh, you now having been found guilty of 2 counts of murder involving your wife and your son, 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime.
The unanimous verdict coming just 3 hours after the defense made its final case for Murdaugh. Murdaugh's team painting a picture of a botched investigation and saying Murdaugh didn't have time to kill his wife Maggie and son Paul and get rid of the evidence.
He's got 17 minutes. 17 minutes. He would have to be a magician to make all that evidence disappear.
The defense argued there were 2 shooters and tried to flip the prosecution's script, arguing that while he lied about being at the kennels minutes before the murders, that video captured the conversation of a happy family.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth!
Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
There's nothing on that tape that indicates there's any strife, any conflict, any anger, any planning.
The defense mocking the state's theory the disgraced lawyer murdered his wife and son because he was about to be exposed for his financial crimes.
Why would Alec Murdaugh on June 7th execute his son Paul and his wife Maggie, who he adored and loved?
What do you think of the verdict, Alec?
In the end, the jury siding with the state.
We had no doubt that if we had a chance to present our case in a court of law, that they would see through the one last con that Alec Murdaugh was trying to pull. And they did, and we're so grateful for that.
Our criminal justice system worked tonight. It gave a voice to Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, who were brutally mowed down and murdered on the night of June 7th, 2021 by someone that they loved and someone that they trusted. We can't bring them back, but we can bring them justice.
He said he loved himself more than Maggie and his son Paul. That was the argument from the defense in the closing. Let's bring in Eva Pilgrim with us live for this West Coast edition of World News Tonight on this guilty verdict at this hour. And Eva, this verdict was reached very quickly.
Yeah, the jury deliberated, David, for less than 3 hours. They came back at 6:41 p.m. Eastern Time. And that pivotal piece of evidence, the kennel video, where you can hear Alec Murdaugh's voice on the video. You hear him speaking about the dog there, saying, "Hey, Bubba." You hear his wife. You hear Maggie as well. And the state saying that if they hadn't found that video on Paul's phone, they don't know that he'd ever admitted to being there, David.
Eva Pilgrim with us on the guilty verdict. Alec Murdaugh found guilty of murdering his wife and son. Eva, thank you for your coverage.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.